Welcome, everybody, to the Huber Rebels podcast. My name is Jordan.
And my name is Ethan.
And this is episode 24.
Wow.
It's been put off like week after week after week after week after week, and it's starting to bug me. But I'm kind of okay with it now.
Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. All right.
You can. Do you want to say anything?
I can't.
I can leave it at that.
Yeah.
It'll hopefully make sense over time.
Yeah.
But in I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. No, let's talk Star Wars.
We're gonna talk about things that we love. Do you want water?
No, I'll be okay.
We're gonna talk about things that we love, like Star Wars.
Yep.
Did you want to talk about any Fallen Order first, since this is a slightly gaming podcast as well?
I
saw you played last night.
Yeah, I played a lot.
You got a hidden trophy that I did not find, apparently, because it didn't have it unlocked for me.
I'm really curious what that is.
I am too. It said it was common. I'm like, what the hell? Why didn't I get it?
What did you miss? I went everywhere.
Me too. I don't know how to play games like these. Like, I feel weird searching for everything, like, first pass through.
So, because I did that and then got to an area that was clearly for later.
Right.
And I was like, I kind of wish I'd saved this stuff for later. But at the same time, like, no, I'm fine. Just like pushing it to the max of what I can do right now.
I also don't want to leave too much for me after, like, endgame stuff too. You know, like, I kind of just want to go and tie some loose ends and then be done with it.
We'll, at least with Zepho, like, I could tell, I was like, oh, we'll come back to this planet.
For sure.
And so I was like, so I can... So now I haven't gotten back to the ship on Zepho.
You're still on Zepho?
Yeah. I was
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Okay. I get Zepho and Bogano confused.
Yeah. All last night I was on Zepho. Mm-hmm. I finished the tomb. I came out of the tomb. I cleared all the stormtroopers, and I was making my way back. Then I went and hit an area that I hadn't been to, where you can go in the base, where there's like more stormtroopers and stuff, and you go and you climb up on like the platform. Did you do that?
There's a lot of climbing in a lot of platforms. I'm not sure. Probably. I explored everything in Zepho. Yes. So
like over by the venerator.
Yep.
So it's getting to that. Okay. So you climb up and you're like hanging off the edge of the platform.
Yeah.
And then you get up and there's a monster up there, or a creature up there.
Yeah.
And a bunch of stormtroopers.
Yeah.
So I did that, went through there, because that's like a whole side area, and then I realized, this is technically for later.
Because you hit dead ends.
Yeah.
Like, you hit walls, you're like, damn it.
If you look at the map, it's red, which means you haven't unlocked the thing. You can't, it's not intended to go this way.
Right.
But the whole time, I was like, where did he rage quit? And I was like, I still haven't gotten back to the ship, so I don't know if it's something that's like right before the ship.
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm trying to remember now, honestly.
What you rage quit on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, I remember.
So
it's so stupid. It's
it is?
So stupid.
Oh,
yeah.
it is?
It's the dumbest thing.
Oh, I'm really curious what it is now.
I
guarantee did it, right?
Yeah. I have it recorded.
Okay.
But I don't exactly remember what it was that pissed me off so much, but like right before you get to the tomb, or like when you go down the elevator to get into the tomb.
Yeah.
There's this like kind of cool, like super platformy, like open area with these like the 4 ram animals.
Wait.
You know, the ones with the horns, and they like charge at you. There's a bunch of like bridges, but they're broken, so you like keep having to like jump around.
Okay, I mean, I must have done
It's right before you get to the like elevator.
Before you get to the elevator?
Yeah, just before the elevator, before you go down into the tomb.
Oh, I thought you meant right when you get down.
No.
Oh, that area.
Yeah.
Oh,
you remember?
Yeah,
and there's the 4 rams that keep charging at you.
I ran away from them.
For some reason, I feel like I have to kill everything, but I don't.
They come back.
I know they do.
And that's why I was like,
but the first pass,
run away from,
I kill everything, and I like literally can't get it out of my mind that I don't have to. I can just run past them.
Oh, yeah. It's good for XP to kill everything. So that's the one. Most of the time I try to kill everything.
The way these stupid rams were like spawning and charging and attacking me was such BS. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, I was so
That's
done.
really funny because I do remember when I first like got there, and it was the first time you'd had like a bunch of enemies like that, and I was like, I jump up on a platform, and then all of a sudden they got up there too, and I was like, oh shit, these things can follow me everywhere. I need to get the hell out of here. Like, and because I was like kind of running, and they ended up like congregating. So at one point I turned around and like I killed one, and there were 4 more right there, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, you can't fight 4 things at once, not yet at least. And so I ran away from them.
Yeah,
I'm sure they killed me. I had a number of times I died, like.
Just like mad at yourself. You're like, why did I do that, or why didn't I do this? And it's so much.
I did
fun,
I did have a couple cool ones though, where I had like no health left and 0 stim packs, and managed to survive. And it's like, I like that.
BD1 is great.
Yeah, he's amazing. I just love the gameplay. Like, I can tell like I'm picking up on the lightsaber combat and like getting the flow for it, and the rhythm, and like the different timing gives you slightly different attacks.
I keep forgetting some of the attacks I have.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm that's gonna take a long time to like layer up. The one I've started doing is the like hold triangle, where you like.
I do that so much, like probably too much.
There's no too much. Like, that's the thing, is like whatever works.
I feel like there's got to be a good like combination of moves. I just like that's almost all I do.
Well, I know like with the Dark Souls games and stuff, like whatever you can, if you can make it work, you can make it work.
Sure.
People beat those games in lots of different ways.
Yeah,
and so. Sometimes the standard isn't the best way to do it.
Because I always think of things like Smash Bros. Like, I don't know all the combos and stuff.
Oh, that's
that are why people are so good and why they beat me at that game all the time. So I think of games like this in the same way. I'm like, are there people who are just like meeting the bosses and just like just kill them in like 5 moves and no health lost and they're moving on? Or
I had moments like that.
Yeah,
where with the same enemy, I'll go in and die 4 times in a row, and then I'll get the combination right and kill them, and without them even touching me.
Right.
And that's what I love. I love that it is possible. It shows you that it is possible. The thing that I hate about games is when they cheat you. When they're like, nope, you're not supposed to do this, so we're going to ramp that up so that it's not. It's like,
It's weird.
I ain't cool with any of that.
Something I noticed the last time I was playing, I think, is that when you fight a group of things, they don't attack as hard. And then when you get to the last one, it just destroys you. I'm like, this sucks.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
Because if they all win 100%, then that wouldn't be any fun. So they want you to be able to, because it's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game. Because I've heard this. I don't know if that's the case for this game, but I have heard that with other games. It's like they have different AI to attack you in groups. Than
in different numbers.
Assassin's Creed is one that does that.
Okay.
Because they could literally just swarm you. You're dead every time. But that's not fun.
Right.
At the end of the day. But group combat is something like that. The Arkham games did really well. Spider-Man did really well. But you're a superhero in that, so you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And
you kind of are too. Yeah,
it's gonna get I don't know how far you are, but the farther we get, the more abilities. And I love that you can tell like there's gonna be more unlocked. And,
I believe I just unlocked the last ability.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I just rekindled. I got the push and fixed my thing with the
those moments are so fun.
Yeah,
because if I feel like I'm doing the Jedi trials, even though you're not, you're training, but like it's cool seeing those like Jedi training
flashes
rooms.
Back, just seeing him in the outfit with the thing.
braid.
I want a fully open world game where you are starting and going, and I don't know how that would look. Like, this is a good way to give you that feel in a small like scale. But oh my god, the push one, I did so bad. I just kept hitting me. He would throw the ball, and it just kept hitting me. I was like, I guess I was hitting it too late.
Yeah, I think.
And I was like, I got one of them, thankfully. Yeah. But all the other ones just would hit me, and then it cut out of it. I was like, that's my memory.
Just getting hit in the face repeatedly.
Just getting hit in the face repeatedly. But I worked the narrative, and then I did really well using my push in the actual like world, like my timing and everything. So I was like, okay. He learned. He's just remembering it when he struggled.
So I forget why did he forget all these things?
I don't think we know everything.
We don't.
Just the trauma, and he like kind of like
from
a Luke thing
from like his master dying and being hunted and stuff.
All of that. He's like his relationship with the Force is he's been hiding and like
so kind of cut himself off
like Luke-esque. That kind of a thing. That's the vibe I was getting.
Gotcha.
And now which is such a great video game
way of training you.
It's yeah, it works really well.
I'm
excited for the next one. I'm excited for one last thing, KOTOR, apparently. So KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. I never played it. But that's considered one of the best Star Wars games ever. It was a full RPG. It had all this crazy story, all this like, so that is set like thousands of years before.
Yeah.
Very, very far back. And there was 2 of those. Now they've already taken some things and kind of worked it into the actual canon. But the latest rumor that just came out is that they're, since that's technically Legends.
Right.
And I don't think that they should make it canon. But
make
KOTOR needs to be canon.
As a game? Or even as like all of movies?
Just what they did there needs to be modernized and worked in the way they've done through Rebels with Thrawn and like all these classic great characters.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what they're doing. They're going to do a new game that's kind of like a God of War reboot, but also kind of like Ratchet and Clank, where it's the same game but tweaked, or like Resident Evil 2, where it's the same game but like modernized and tweaked, so the essence and that core is still there.
Because I heard in Resident Evil 2, like they did change some things that like just wouldn't work anymore.
Yep. Straight up.
That's cool.
So that's what they're going to do, but now they know the canon, they know the story and what they're going to do, and bring all of these great characters back in a modern engine, and a modern RPG. Oh my god, it could be incredible. PS5, Xbox, like Series X, like next gen.
There's been a handful of things in this game alone that like either hint at or like blatantly reference certain things that are like super recent, or like it's just the way they're tying everything together and filling in the gaps is so much fun.
That's why this killed me that we waited so long, because like Levin was like, dude, you need to play this game. There's stuff in here. Like there's stuff in it. I still haven't gotten to a lot of that.
Right.
Like, hints of it. I'm excited, but because you haven't even watched all of Rebels.
Right.
Apparently the last season of Rebels, which I haven't watched either, there's some big shit in there that like we need to watch like ASAP. So
Rebels,
the last season of Rebels, not the new Clone Wars season. Although I'm sure there will be some stuff in there too. But apparently there's some stuff in the last season of Rebels that I'm ashamed that I've missed.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. That needs to be the next show I start, I think.
That's why I'm right now I'm doing Fallen Order. I don't want to like, I thought about it watching Rebels or Clone Wars while I'm playing Fallen Order. I don't want to get those all convoluted. So I'm going to finish Fallen Order, and then I'll probably go to Rebels, and then I'll probably go to Clone Wars. And I'm going to do Rebels because it was created. It came out, even though chronologically it takes place after whatever's going to happen in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
They created what happens in Rebels before what's going to happen in Clone Wars.
You're meant to watch.
So in that sense, I feel like
some people had to watch it in that order. So like, why shouldn't I?
It was the way it's designed.
Right. It's like it's the same with the movies.
Same with the movies. Yeah. Like they're designed to watch that way. Because, which means every subsequent movie is designed acknowledging the ones that came before.
Only what it knew before.
And that's part of it.
Right.
And so So I'm excited.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future of Star Wars games. I think this generation was arguably last generation too, were bad for Star Wars. PS3.
Oh, for Star Wars, yeah.
What did we have on PS3?
Were the Force Unleashed games PS3?
Yeah. And I didn't play them.
I played the first one on Wii.
I didn't play them because that wasn't... This is what I wanted.
That could have been such a cool story.
I think the story was good.
Yeah.
One apparently like has some good stuff, and there's some original... Starkiller was Luke's original like name.
Right.
So they like kind of did that.
Right.
The story stuff was pretty crazy. With I think he was like Vader's apprentice and
I believe so.
And like some weird
but like defected but was still bad or something. I don't even know.
So I don't know if they'll ever make him canon again in some weird way. Probably not. But the PS3 generation, that's all I can think of for Star Wars. Like literally I can't think of another Star Wars game that came out.
Remember there was that other like game that was supposed to be epic that was coming out. We were hearing about it like around the time of Battlefront, but it got scrapped. It had like a year in the title, I thought. Or maybe not. That doesn't make sense.
So you're thinking of is right before Lucasfilm was sold.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2000, it would have been E3.
13 or something?
E3.
13, 14.
2012.
Oh my God.
Is probably when they showed that game. Maybe even 2011. And it was Star Wars 1313.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
And it was going to be a Boba Fett game in the underworld. The character they showed in the demo was a placeholder.
Yeah.
But then they were sold LucasArts and all that, so
They
that just
scrapped
got
the whole
scrapped.
game.
They took some of that and worked it into Ragtag, which was the other game that they were working on. Amy Hennig, formerly of Uncharted, was working with Visceral, the people who made Dead Space.
Cool.
They were making a Star Wars game. That got scrapped.
Damn.
That was like last year, 2 years ago, I think. And so everybody's been all freaking out, but I was always like, nah, I think this one's going to be good.
Yeah.
It seems like they can't mess up this Respawn game.
Yeah.
Or it's done.
Right.
And I was confident that they scrapped that. It sounded like a cool idea. It was too ambitious. And they've taken that and they're putting it into something else. So whatever we're going to get next, I think it's going to be good moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, you even look at Battlefront 1, it was okay. We wanted something, but it really wasn't there. Hyped for Battlefront 2, huge disappointment. Given what they've done
Totally turned it around.
and what they've learned, they're not going to do that again. So we have to assume that everything should be relatively positive moving forward.
Yeah. Well, and EA is almost done with their contract with Star Wars games, right?
I think they're going to probably...
Really?
Unless they use multiple studios, which I think they should do.
Well, and they are, aren't they? Or, because maybe I don't understand.
Battlefront's EA, Fallen Order's EA. Any other...
Okay, that's the studio.
Unannounced.
So the developers, like, the developers are DICE and Respawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Which EA owns.
Okay, so
Those
you
are
don't think
studios.
EA will stop being involved? You just think they might give it to, like, let someone else make a game also?
I would love that.
Yeah.
But, like, so BioWare, who made KOTOR, is EA.
Oh.
However, is the original BioWare team still there? Are they working on Anthem? They're working on Dragon Age, apparently.
What, another Anthem game?
No, but
They're still working
trying
on
to
Anthem.
fix it.
Yeah.
They need to scrap that, honestly. Like, that game doesn't need to exist.
I haven't heard about it.
No, like, disrespect. Well, it's because it's on hold right now. They're working on it.
Right.
I hope they just walk away. That's not to hate on the people that love that game, but, like, there's just too much in that. Do we really need that when we can get an epic Star Wars game? Like, that's just... And I don't want to tell people, like, your game doesn't matter, but look at the numbers. I guess that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at the numbers.
The numbers 1 through 9 plus
11.
plus 2. We're going to rank...
My favorite number is +2.
Yeah, me too. We're going to rank the Skywalker saga plus Rogue One and Solo.
Indeed.
We'll probably go through the first few and then take a break, and then we'll finish out our lists. Who wants to go first?
I think you should go first.
Okay. Don't need to find my list just yet because I know that my number 11 is...
Star Wars Episode 11.
the 10th movie released. Nope, the 9th movie. No? Yes. The 9th movie released. Episode 8. The Last Jedi.
The 8th Jedi.
We did briefly discuss this a little bit last week because we tried to do this last week and technology failed me. And that's okay. But, I mean, does any more need to be said?
I think some stuff should be said. I think we should talk about it. I mean, we can also talk about it when it comes up on my list.
Let's talk about it when it comes up on your list, I guess.
That's fair.
I don't hate it. I'll always watch it. Just, it's my least favorite. It's
that's
the most disappointing Star Wars movie I've ever watched. And I think that is deserved of it being in last place.
I concur.
What's your number 11?
My number 11 is Episode 11. If you read Roman numerals as numbers.
So true. Oh my God.
And as you mentioned, we did discuss our 11th picks last week. However, the more I've thought about this, like, this is just at the bottom because something has to go at the bottom. And at the end of the day, I really love it all Star Wars. I've decided.
Me too.
And like, I think I thought I had negative things to say about this movie, and there are some criticisms.
Because you were considering swapping them, right?
I was considering doing some adjustment, yeah. But it's less about why this movie is bad, and it's more about, I look at the strong parts and kind of measure those against each other. And
yeah,
this one has a lot of strong points. I just put those below the other ones. Because I love episode 2. The whole, and I almost forget what's in it when I'm not watching it.
There were parts that I had like kind of forgotten about when I most recently watched.
Is part of the reason it's at the bottom, because like that is happening, and I just like when I think about it, like it doesn't pop to the top.
It's the most, not that this is a bad thing, but for Star Wars, it's definitely the most romance heavy in all of the Star Wars movies, which could put you to sleep if you're a kid.
When I was a kid,
right,
this was definitely the one I was least interested in.
Yeah.
From that aspect, however, when I think back on it, I was like, the ending battle, all of Geonosis, I love.
Oh,
that was like one
awesome.
of my favorite things.
Yeah. All the lightsabers lighting up. You're
all
like,
of it.
Oh my God. Because that's the most you've ever seen.
Yeah.
At that point.
And that's one of the things that when I go back and watch it is less exciting to me now. Because I'm like, who are all these rando people?
That's actually the most lightsabers you ever see.
Yeah. And that was why that scene existed.
Right.
It was, let's just get a bunch of people in lightsabers and put them out here. That not that that's a criticism. It was cool. And still, when they fly down out of the sky, that's such a top moment.
Yeah.
Around the survivors, a perimeter create. Yeah, I love that. Like, Yoda's amazing.
He's so chill.
And the other thing I was going to say is I really like the Camino stuff. Those are the two parts of this movie that really stand out to me. And
Jango Fett
and Tatooine. I do like Anakin's Tatooine sequence. But yes, Jango Fett, his armor, the fight
kind
with
of the most
him and Obi-Wan.
Boba Fett, Jango Fett action you really get to see.
The most Mandalorian action we would have seen.
In a movie, for sure.
In Star Wars.
Yeah.
Before The Mandalorian.
Right.
You got to see him use his jetpack and shoot the rocket and shoot
fly the ship.
All of it.
In the ship.
Yeah, even the ship. Yeah, you didn't get to see that in the originals, other than like a second or two. But as is going to be the theme as we continue to go through this, it's just going to get better from here.
Yep, I agree.
Number 10.
Episode 2.
There you go.
I think I'm happy. This is all I want to do. I just want to highlight the good stuff about all the movies.
That's just how I feel about it.
And that's
Star
why
Wars.
I didn't really want to talk about episode 8 that much then. I'll say what I like about it when we get to it on your list.
Yeah.
What's your number 10?
My number 10, and really only like this was the hardest one because I love this freaking movie. My number 10 is Solo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And it's only because I'm like, I can't put it above that. Like literally every time I'm like, I want to, but I can't put it above that.
I felt the exact same way. You and I are in the same, on the same page where like there's so much hate for that movie in the world.
I don't feel any of it.
And I'm not trying to discredit anyone's feelings about the movie. Like you feel about it the way you want to, because I feel about 8 the way I want to feel about it. But like, it's just fun. Like
so I figured out.
I enjoy watching it every time.
Figured out my frustration with the criticism.
Yeah.
Watching some other people talk about it. Their criticism was, we didn't need to see that. Why did we need to see Han meet Chewie? And I'm thinking, because it happened?
Right.
Because that's a story beat?
We don't need to see any of this stuff.
We don't need to see any of this, period. We don't need, but we're getting it. Why are they showing the Kessel Run? Because that's an important part of Han
that you keep hearing about over and over again.
That's part of the story.
Yeah. Whether
you wanted to hear about his adventure on this random place that we've never heard of that has no correlation, and like that could be cool. But
I mean, that's what that event was.
At the end of the day,
just with the Kessel Run tucked into it. Yep. You didn't know that he was like smuggling this coaxium.
Nope.
That's a whole brand new thing.
So I think the performances were great. I think the casting was on point. You can be a testament to this. I was one of the strongest people against this movie from day one.
I kind of was too. I wasn't into it.
When I heard that they were going to make this, I was like, nope, you can't make a Han Solo movie. There is no Han Solo and Harrison Ford. Like, they are one in the same. Right. He is him. You get a old him and you just say, deal with it. That's him young. Like, I don't care. Like, that's how hardcore I was. And then I was like, he got cast. And I'm like, I watched Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
Liked him in that.
When did you watch that?
Randomly. I don't even.
Recently or like a while ago?
Before Solo came out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good amount of time ago.
Yeah. He was funny in that movie.
He was great. And that was what made me go like, okay, he's got my attention.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this doesn't mean he can pull off Han Solo, but
Did you watch that because of him? Like, you wanted to like see him in something
No.
else, or you just happened to like stumble upon him in that movie?
It was because it was before he was announced.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
saw that movie.
Yeah.
And then he got announced. I was like, I know. Oh, he was in. I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
Yeah.
I'm not. It could have been the other way.
Sure.
But I didn't know what to expect, and I still remember going into the theater and being so nervous, and almost immediately I was on board. And I was like, even to myself, I was like, what's wrong with me? Why am I buying into this so much?
Right.
And I just did. And I guess I get that some people don't, but he's not Han yet. And that's why it works, in my opinion.
He doesn't have his Hanisms just yet.
You just get hints of
Yeah.
his personality,
Yeah.
and I think he nails it.
I don't know if there could have been a better person. I think there could have been, but like
I don't think they're like,
you do buy in I bought into it, and
Yeah.
that's all I wanted. That's
Yep.
fine.
some people don't. I guess there's nothing you can do about that. I would argue that that's because you're. I don't know why.
We don't need to,
I think
if
it's
people
interesting.
don't like it, like that's
Because I just think he nailed it so much, and we're such like
I do think it could have been better.
critics. I mean, everything.
Because
could
there
be
were some
better.
things that he did that I thought were kind of annoying.
I don't see how it could have been better in reality,
Sure.
because nobody's ever gonna be Harrison Ford. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I've seen better embodiments of either real people or characters.
In what way?
Just like people who act either a real character who was in real life,
Yeah.
or trying to be a younger version of a character better.
Oh, you mean other instances, not somebody that's
Yes,
done
that's
Han
done Han Solo. No.
Oh, yeah.
And you're right. Maybe Han Solo is such a complex and like such an iconic, one of a kind person that it's like
Yeah.
almost impossible to perfect.
Just given all the factors, yeah, I'm good with it.
Because to me, if Han was better, this movie would be even higher on my list for me. Like
Yeah, I mean,
he was the only thing that holds that movie back a little bit for me.
Oh, that's so.
But I still love it.
Yeah,
I have no hate towards it at all. It's just that he was the weakest point of the movie for me, and that's not to
yeah, no,
talk too much shit on it. Like,
I think that's interesting because I don't know if I feel like that. Not that like anybody's right or wrong, just
Right.
like because like
because like Lando, I think Donald Glover. Not Danny Glover. I think Donald Glover played Lando better than Alden Ehrenreich played Han. Yeah.
And I'm seeing that's something that I'm still conflicted about.
Because I mean, he was still Donald Glover, but he got those isms down.
He nails it 100%, and maybe that's why it works less for me.
Bothers you? Like
Maybe
too
that's
much?
why Alden works better for me, because it's not Uncanny Valley. And with Donald Glover, even from the first time I saw it, it was Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're Lando, but you're not.
Right.
Are you? It's like almost like a caricature,
Yeah.
but not that exaggerated.
Sure.
But
So
I still love it.
Do you like people making it their own a little bit more then? Not trying to like impersonate to a T?
No, I think for me, at least the way my brain operates is, there's enough of a time gap that they shouldn't be identical to
Yeah, I
how
get
they
you.
were later.
Yeah.
Like Lando in 9 isn't Lando in 5. He's Lando in 9,
Right.
even though he's Billy D. Like, and he can just kind of be himself. He doesn't have to try to be Lando.
Right.
But had Donald Glover not done the part like that, it wouldn't have worked at all. Like, he did, again, 100% what he should have done.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those, like, unsolvable situations.
Sure.
Because you're trying to emulate.
Icons.
Yeah, and so it's really inherently impossible.
Yeah.
I think I did a good enough job giving myself that expectation.
Yeah.
That
it worked.
That it worked. From just that's how I looked at that.
Yeah.
Had I gone in there, been like, all right, I want to see Han, and I would have been upset. I would have been like, this is a failure. That was never,
Because you
it was never-
can't do it.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents there.
That being said,
I totally get what you're saying. And I get what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, I guess.
Sure.
And it makes me sad that it could be the reason we don't get any more.
I think inherently I'm just a more cynical person.
Okay.
When it comes to movies.
Yep. And I think I definitely am the other way.
But even that being said, like, I want more of these movies.
Oh, I know.
I want more Han Solo movies or a show. Like,
I'll take a show because
I want to know what happens when Alden Ehrenreich. I want to see him go and deal with Jabba. I want to see what happens with him and Lando in between when we see them in 5.
Yeah.
Like, was that the last time they saw each other? I doubt it.
Well, they saw each other in the end, the game, because they played again.
Right.
So they saw each other then.
Did he steal the ship and then leave until he goes to Cloud City? That would be hilarious, but I don't think so.
What do you mean? Steal the ship?
Or wins the ship.
And then just next time they see each other, and it doesn't seem like
it doesn't seem like
long.
it. So I want to see what else they do. Like, I want to see what might bring them together more as friends.
Yeah, I do too.
Anyways,
that's
my number 10.
Wait, no, what's your number 10?
Solo. Solo is my number 10.
No.
Yes, it
2 is your number 10.
I'm sorry. Solo's my number 9.
Yeah, that's what you were
saying. What is your number 9?
The Last Jedi.
Okay. All right. Let's talk good about this movie.
So, this is another one. You nailed it. This is the most disappointed I've ever come out of a movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And it took 2 years to get over it. Maybe a year to get over it. I didn't think I'd ever be able to get over it.
Yeah.
But I said I don't want to be like those prequel people.
Right.
And to this day, I still am trying to hold myself to that.
Because they refuse to find the good in it.
Or it's such a pathetic give.
Right.
It's like, I'll give you that, but does it even matter?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, it does. This is the most I've probably ever read supplemental content for a movie.
I do remember you digging deep on it.
To this day, I'll like to wrap my head around decisions and for it to make sense. And it finally does for me, for the most part. There's still some like fundamental stuff I don't agree with direction wise of the directing, but even then, and I was even reading some stuff, finally a positive article about why 9 doesn't just slap 8 in the face and that it actually does continue the themes, but people are so blindly ignoring that they're not even seeing that it is respecting 8.
Yeah.
The best parts of 8.
Right.
Because I do like the angle they went with to a certain degree.
Me too.
Of doing something different.
Me too.
Just not too different.
Because I remember leading up to it,
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, this is going to be the dark Star Wars. Yeah. And whether it was the dark Star Wars or not, like, I wanted something different. I wanted a new Star Wars movie that made me feel differently.
Force Awakens.
No.
The sequel right away.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was down for something different, and this definitely was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The hardest thing for me was Luke at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that because of how it started, I was so averse the rest of the movie. But if you just cut that one, and it's not even the fact he throws the lightsaber. I realized this watching it again. It's the audio. It's the way he mixes the audio to make it hit even worse.
Right.
To kill it. So it's just to make it sound funny.
Because it tricks you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he had just thrown it, you're like, oh, damn.
Well, if the music had just been going and he had just thrown it and continued, but it's the like just it's the slapstick.
It's a punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
which is a joke.
Not okay.
Right.
That's not okay in that moment.
Right.
Partly because that's the moment we've been waiting years for. And that's what TV does. We may have talked about this before.
The cliffhanger
that an episode ends on is immediately resolved in lighthearted fashion.
The cliff is much smaller when you get to the next episode.
And I'm fine when that's a serial television show.
That you get either the next day or the next week.
But
or the next click if it's bingeable.
For this,
2 years.
That moment is what was imprinted in my brain, waiting for the next movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that was what hurt the most.
It didn't even start with that. The movie didn't even start with that.
So I was like,
I don't know if it should have,
and
but
then no, I'm okay that it didn't.
Yeah.
But
because leading up to that, like I was in. So it was very comedic, in the beginning of the movie,
which I loved. I
didn't.
I loved everything Poe was doing, because it's the movie just started, and all right, we're a little loose right now, and then things get a little like I'm okay with that. 3 started like that. That's very similar to how the feeling I remember with the beginning of 3 in the theater was like, man, this is very lighthearted. This is very jokey, and I was just rolling. I was very okay with it at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that, because what he was doing was so badass, bro. You know, hitting it and going
when he drifts that X-wing,
and just when he goes like, doesn't he go like super fast?
Yeah.
And then he drifts it. Yeah. All him doing X-wing maneuvers is like one of my favorite things in the entire
in all Star Wars
sequel trilogy, in all of Star Wars.
The way you actually get to see someone like maneuver ships, which he does. Yeah. It's good stuff.
And so without breaking down this whole movie, I mean,
so
what would you say your favorite part of this movie is?
Easily the throne room scene, which I probably is my favorite scene in all of Star Wars.
Damn.
It was so freaking hype when it happened.
That doesn't elevate it out of the last spot?
Nope.
That's crazy.
Nope. But when Kylo kills Snoke and Rey catches the lightsaber and they look at each other and they turn to work together, I'm just like, oh my God.
Every time I watch it, it's epic.
It gives me chills. Like
every single time.
There was one time before episode 9 where I'm just like, I'm trying to get myself hyped up for the coming movie, and I watched that scene and I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, this is so awesome.
It's perfect. It's because of everything that's built up to it too. Because over the course of the movie, they've been like, it's been building to this moment.
Yeah.
With all their interactions. And
that stuff is great too. I love that he did that. I love that he introduced this new thing of FMs. Yeah. Force messaging or whatever. Like nothing.
Credit goes to Nick Scarpino for that. Yeah. Of Kind of Funny. That is one of the greatest, I
love it.
Nickname things for, I'll use that forever now.
Yeah. FMs. Cause I don't think we've ever seen anything like that in any Star Wars thing. And so if Rian Johnson came up with that, credit to you. Like that, that is so sick.
I love new Force abilities. Like that was one of the criticisms, was like, where are all these new Force abilities coming from? I'm like, every single Star Wars movie has introduced new Force abilities that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
But we accept them because it's Star Wars. That's the point.
Right.
Why is everybody getting so technical all of a sudden?
Like, why do you want to just have like 5 things Jedi can do?
No, they did it all in that 4. And so we can hold a lightsaber and talk to dead people. That's all they can do. And choke if you're dark. That's the only thing you can do. That's the Force.
You can't do it if you're light.
No. Because
babies definitely can't choke.
No. We can talk more about this movie over the course of the other movies that we talk about, because there will be like connector stuff.
I mean, it's the bridge between 2 other movies we're going to talk about.
The last thing I'll say is I really do, after the fact, and now every time I loved all the Luke and Rey training. I really enjoyed Luke training Rey.
Yeah.
And it's so mysterious and it's so different than Luke and Yoda training.
I like that he had like lessons prepared. Like
he's been a teacher, so
but he had lessons that were like even post his school lessons, like why the Jedi didn't work lessons.
Yeah, he's reflected on that. You can tell.
Yeah, yep. He has like Force lessons, not Jedi lessons, because he doesn't really believe in the Jedi anymore. But he's like, here's how you tap into the Force, and I don't know how you're gonna react to this, so that's why I'm hiding here. but I'll show you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is cool.
I one of my favorite scenes from that movie, even when we saw it in theaters, was when she's got her eyes closed and feel the warmth of this and the cold of this and life and death, and that as it's moving through. I love that.
Such a non-Star Wars like kind of scene too, like cutting between different things that weren't there. You never cut away. You never cut to a different place while someone's talking over it. That was super interesting.
But I will say, lastly, the last time that I watched The Last Jedi was my favorite time.
Yeah.
Kind of putting it more context into everything. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
Holdo is my least favorite character in all of Star Wars. My number 8. Phantom Menace.
I'm shocked.
It's
shock alert. Shock alert. I'm shocked.
This really was a hard list to make.
I'm very excited now.
But it is like...
I'm very excited.
So
for
we
the
did.
rest
I
of this
didn't. I didn't
list.
mention it. It's like
So just to be clear,
what movie would I want?
9 through 11, even. We've
Different orders, but same movies.
We've hit all the same movies.
Yep.
So this is the all right.
Resetting. Yeah. I had to go. Like, do I want to watch this one over this one? And damn, I might have changed something. But no, Episode The Phantom Menace is my number 8. I mean, I'm not even saying anything bad about it.
No, I know.
What do I love? I love Qui-Gon. We need more Qui-Gon. We've barely gotten any Qui-Gon. Really, we've gotten a mention of him in episode 3, a reference to him in the Clone Wars, books that aren't canon, and that's
You haven't
pretty
finished
much
Clone
it.
Wars, right?
I have.
There's more than a reference.
Is he in it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not very much, though, right?
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you might see him. You might barely see him.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because Yoda goes to like connect with him, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
That last season, I think
But still not very much.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
He's not like a main character. It's
I
like
could do a
here's Qui-Gon, and then he leaves.
Disney plus Qui-Gon just being a Force ghost stuck in one spot series for 18 episodes of him just like talking about the Force. I would watch that.
And tell me about midichlorians.
Yeah, yes.
Please.
I want a Qui-Gon midichlorian series.
Because screw you, you don't get to make the rules. That's what they are.
Yep.
You don't have to hear about them. They don't mention them again. That's fine, but that's what they are.
Can I make a comment about that? This is going to be like a side note. But like Lucas's original sequel trilogy idea was to dive into that.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine with midichlorians, and then when I realized people were upset, I was like, "Oh yeah, that is kind of weird." Like, I hadn't even like thought to be upset about it, and then I was like, "Oh, that is kind of weird." And then I heard Lucas's ideas, and I was like, "No, 100%, it's so cool." Like,
it sucks that we didn't get more of it,
because the more is what would have been awesome.
Yeah,
and we might.
I hope.
There's a rumor
of
that Lucas wants back in
to do what?
To help. He wants control. I'm so conflicted by it, but I also like.
So. I mean, as long as we're talking about one of the movies he directed, I don't think he should direct a Star Wars movie. He should definitely be creatively involved.
I think he should make most of the decisions in terms of like that universe is in his head.
Let Disney
I trust it.
Cast.
Yeah.
Obviously, like produce, like pour their money into it, but
direct.
Let
JJ direct.
Someone. I'm even down for like more new people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Too.
Just to get different flavors of Star Wars movies.
I agree.
I don't think George Lucas should direct.
I think he only directed 4.
Right.
He didn't direct 5 or 6.
4 movies. Oh yeah, right.
Both.
Right.
Both 4 movies.
Right.
But like of that original trilogy, I didn't even realize that he didn't even direct 5 and 6.
Right.
And that was, yeah. There's a winning situation, and I hope it.
Because we've seen some of the deleted scenes for the prequel movies, and they are amongst some of the worst things I've ever seen that would have been on the big screen. Like, it's horrendous.
He could even direct as long as he doesn't write script.
That's true.
And dialogue.
Is that the worst part?
Yeah.
That's the
worst
writing?
part. Even in the originals, Harrison and them had to improvise because of how bad it was.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't care.
No.
Like,
because we still got what we have.
It's in your head. I love you. Period.
Yeah.
Your brain made it.
Things I love from episode 1.
Sorry about that little side.
No, that's fine. That was perfect. The pod racing, obviously.
Oh,
love the pod racing.
Always. Need more pod. # need more pod racing.
I don't know why there hasn't been.
It's weird.
Besides the games, which are
old,
some of my favorite games of all time too.
But they're old and tied to one.
I want to see them.
Yeah. In the background.
Go to a pod race. Like, have it. I don't know how it would work. When they go to Cancel Bite in episode 8, I thought that might have been a pod race that they were watching, but no.
I hope too. Is it because they all died?
Every pod racer's dead.
Is that the story? Anakin won, and every other pod racer is dead, except Sebulba.
It doesn't. And they've clearly raced before, so is it just Anakin and Sebulba racing a brand new fleet of people every single time?
No, according to the game, there was an entire league until that day.
Oh, that day
that they all
killed
died.
Everybody. I got you. I get you. Yeah, but in the game they die, sort of.
Well, yeah, but
then you respawn.
they didn't respawn in the movie. Anyways, pod racing was amazing.
Pod racing is amazing.
Some of the
You kind of
best-
see it in episode 2 also when they go into the bar and you see it on the TV, and also football.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna shut up for the rest of this since I will talk about this later.
Okay. Until the sequel trilogy, I had my favorite character, I think, in Darth Maul. Maybe. Someone who deserved more and got more, thankfully, thanks to the shows. And Solo, which was something I did not expect. This is the first Star Wars movie I went to see. I remember when it came out, my dad went to see it. This was 99, so I was 5 years old.
I can't wait to do this list.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm so excited. I'm still shocked.
Really?
Yes. Continue.
Yeah. In 99, my dad went to go see it first to make sure it was okay for a 5-year-old to see, and then he, don't know if there's...
Yeah.
And then I remember going to see it, and I remember Qui-Gon dying, and it was traumatizing. Yeah.
That's pretty.
And Darth Maul scared me. He gave me nightmares. Darth Maul is the first nightmare I remember. I remember a warehouse. I was in a warehouse, like an airplane hangar.
Yeah, that's what I was imagining.
And the doors were open, and then Darth Maul appears at the door, and there's a swap meet inside of this airplane hangar.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I was fighting him. I don't think I had a lightsaber, but he came and he killed me.
Could it be because he appears in a hangar in the movie?
Yeah.
I was just wait, giant.
But it
doors
wasn't
in a
that.
hangar. Yeah, no. It was yeah.
It was a real world version of that. So he scared me, but I always loved him.
I think that's a good sign of a good villain.
For sure.
That's amazing because I don't remember him scaring me.
You were a little bit older too.
No,
it's a big jump in those years.
You know what? It makes a big no. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I totally see why he's the perfect character to. He doesn't really do much, and look what he's still able to evoke.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a good character
The
without
first
much dialogue.
different lightsaber that we ever saw, the double lightsaber, and you're just oh my god, how is this possible?
I still think I need to own that, but
yeah,
Maya feels differently.
One day, it'll always be there.
Maybe, hopefully.
We can talk more when we get to it on your list. What's your number 8?
Episode 3. There's your shock.
Okay. All right.
So I've got a weird relationship with this movie. It was toward the top of my list when I watched 1, 2, Clone Wars, 3, Rebels, 4. When I did it, all of it.
Yeah.
Watching all of Clone Wars and then watching 3, it was way up there. There's less I like about this movie now. A lot of it really feels like building towards the end. Mm-hmm. And because what I love seeing in this movie is Dark Anakin and seeing the fall. It's so good.
He does that really well. He does that better than he does normal Anakin.
Hayden's performance is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think my struggle is how rushed it feels. And it's so not a criticism of them. It is what this movie is, what it had to be. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think watching Clone Wars and then watching it feels better.
Yeah.
And the way I was watching it kind of rushed, and I was just not that into it. But nothing. So many cool things in this movie. It's just banger after banger in terms of what I remember is oh, there's that, and oh, there's that, and oh, everything. This is the movie that's setting all those final things into place, and it's so cool to see that.
Cool new characters. At least one.
Oh,
Grievous.
So Grievous,
Yeah.
Oh my god, I always loved Grievous. Yeah, I love seeing, and what the other cool thing is you get to see the Clone Wars in the movies. This is the only other than that one Geonosis battle, you get to see all the different planets and all the different. There's really a lot in this.
Oh, you mean to get to see the other planets when
Clone Wars.
Yeah,
you're getting to see every planet and the different clones, and we get to see Kashyyyk, and we get to see Volusia?
Well, you get to see a lot of stuff when they're dying.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But you do see a lot of planets, which is cool.
And I love Obi-Wan in this movie.
The best Obi-Wan.
The best Obi-Wan, the worst Padme. That, I think, is what kills me, is what brings this movie down for me, is Padme was weak in this movie.
Is it because she's pregnant and she can't really do anything? Like, because she can fight. She does fight, you know? Like, she gets into the action, and then she's just kind of relegated to being at home.
And that, I think that would be my...
upset about Anakin.
Yeah, that's why I'm always like racking my brain. I'm like, huh, and like what's coming to me when I'm thinking about the movie, and it was a lot of Padme just being sad doing nothing.
Yeah,
that killed me.
Yeah.
That like 2 was better than this. I loved Padme in 2, and her and Anakin and doing all that. However, that's not what this movie was about. So it was probably the right call.
Yeah.
Because this was really about Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And Palpatine, I guess.
And the whole thing happens in a pretty short span of time, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, Padme's going to be at home.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because even in Clone Wars, you see her doing a lot more stuff too. Like she's not.
Yeah, she's very capable.
Yeah.
But there was something else. Fun fact that I didn't discover until recently is that every single clone is CG.
They kind of look like it.
The entirety of the prequels. There's not a single physical clone.
They didn't make us a costume. They really do look like it, though.
And I knew they looked like it.
Yeah.
But then you're like, when you realize,
but
most
also,
of it,
when
and
the
then
whole
you're like,
movie looks CG, also, like you're like, oh man, maybe it's just like a filter.
This isn't even a criticism.
No.
I was just more like shocked I never noticed.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a testament to how good the CG.
It's kind of a bummer you never get to see their faces.
Except in 3, and that was actually what I was thinking of. Is we get to see Commander Cody, I think, on Utapau.
Do you really?
Yeah, we get to see we get to see somebody's face.
I don't remember that.
Am I? Maybe I'm just thinking of the pilots. Then there's some scene where you get to see the clone's face.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 3 is the only one that does that.
Yeah, it's a shame because like the show really does make this movie a little bit worse.
The show
as a standalone movie, the 3 is a good tack on to the shows, but the shows that makes the movie worse by itself because you get so many cool clones.
Yeah.
That you get to know and love that continue on.
Yeah.
But you never see them in 3. You never even realize that they like have names or like are
I think
brothers.
This was the first one where they named him.
They do call him Rex, huh? Or Cody,
no,
or
I think it's
Cody.
just that one between Obi-Wan and the clone on Utapau. That's really the only interaction, and it stuck with me.
Yeah,
it so sticks with you because it's.
Thank you, Cody.
Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Like that's literally all it is.
Yeah.
And you're like, they have names.
That's true.
That was all we knew.
Like, how do you know that's Cody?
And then they do the Clone Wars show, and you learn way more about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I'll never not watch this movie.
Same.
It's great.
It is great. Am I on to my number 7?
Yeah.
11, 10, 9, 8. Controversy.
I think there's going to be a lot of controversy. I think you're going to be quite shocked at my list.
I think you're definitely going to be shocked at mine.
We should have made prediction lists.
Oh, interesting.
Of each other. But
that would have been really hard.
Really hard. 6.
So
this is 7.
This is my number 7.
Okay.
Contrary to the entire world, who might put this at number 1.
Oh,
The Empire Strikes Back is my number 7.
I know that's how you feel about it.
Just because it's not that great to me. It's still really fun, and I know it's like, oh, it's the bridging episode. Like it does so much to like connect the things and like continue the story or whatever. And it's like no, it's the first one after episode 4, so it probably has more budget and there's like a little bit more going on, and it looks better.
You
and
can see the step
up. It's a fuller world, which definitely makes it good. The Hoth scene is great, but like it doesn't blow my mind like it blows a lot of people's minds. Lando was a great addition. I love Han and Leia once they finally like admit that they like each other. I don't like when they're fighting and like hating each other.
I like that scene too.
Which one? When they're fighting, or you like when they're actually like
the end scene when they say the thing? Yeah, I have many reasons to show why I like that part. Yeah, anyways.
I love you. I know. I don't know why I don't connect to this movie as much as most people do. I don't have as many things in it that like I think about as often as other movies.
So I'll add to that in saying I know exactly how you feel, because for a long time that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So get it. But as I've gotten older, this one, and watching it and like really like being critical, I see it differently than I used to see it.
Yeah.
So, but I still get all those other things. And even the last time I watched it, it hit me differently, which I was shocked. Like the last time I watched it was probably like the differentiating moment.
Oh, Yoda adds Yoda. I mean, that's pretty epic.
So when I was younger,
yeah,
I almost didn't go because of Yoda. He is who I was afraid of. Yoda is who I was afraid of.
That's hilarious.
Terrified. And I remember my mom being like, no, he's good. Like, he's a good guy.
Go to what? You said you didn't
go. To the theaters to see it.
Did they re-release them?
Yeah, I saw them all in theaters.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lucky.
And I don't know if I've said this on here before, but like not realizing they were not new movies.
Yo, right. Let's go see this new movie, episode 5, in 1990.
Well, episode 4. Yeah,
right.
I saw episode 4, and then that was 5, and then that was 6.
Right.
Like, that's just what it was. But this, and definitely as a kid, this was the one because it's the darkest. It's the romance again.
True.
It's all that stuff that, like, when you're a kid, you're not into. I was never, like, super, super diehard Boba Fett when I was a kid either. That's really, like...
Come later.
That I don't know even at what point that resonated with me. Although I did have the Slave One ship. I don't know if I had a Falcon. I don't think I did. God, that would be really cool. Maybe I did? I don't know. Regardless. I will talk more about this movie later unless there's anything you want to add.
No, we can talk about when we get there.
So that was your 7?
That was my 7.
My 7.
Mm-hmm.
Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
And... God, this is where it really... This is... The top 7 was where I was all over the place.
Yeah.
Because this was definitely not a 7 when I started. And... I still love this freaking movie so much. I love Return of the Jedi.
I really love Return of the Jedi.
The Jabba stuff. I love the... him going back to Dagobah and not being there for that long.
Yeah.
Like, I still remember, like, as a kid being like, oh, this is when he's not there for a long time.
Right.
He's just hanging out. His ship's not stuck and dirty. He can just land. He's just talking to...
It's more relaxed.
Yeah. It's way more chill. It's very stressful.
The first time.
In 5, yeah.
Right.
And now he's a Jedi and Yoda dies, which is way more intense now.
He understands so much more and like knows how to actually talk to Yoda this time.
Yeah. And
he's not as whiny.
So my big thing about this movie, I still remember when I heard that the Ewoks were dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never even considered it. I'm like, oh,
everyone doesn't love them?
Yeah, right? Like, what? And I kind of went through this like process of coming to terms with that.
Yeah.
And then being like, Ewoks are awesome.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars.
Right.
They're on a forest planet and there's little bears. Like, who cares? This is amazing.
Yeah.
He came up with this. Like, and that's when I was like, I'm watching. I'm like, this is impressive. This isn't stupid. This is like, I never would have expected this in Star Wars. We got a giant slug bounty hunter man, and it's so unique and creative.
In my mind, the Jawas are just as weird as the Ewoks, and they don't even do as much.
But maybe, and that I think is the issue, is they took down the Empire, and it's like, well, no, and also there were a lot of them, and also this was their hood.
Yeah, like, it's their territory.
That gives them an innate advantage.
Sure. I mean, the Empire's never been perfect.
Yeah.
They always screw up.
Exactly.
They're never prepared. So, if they're outnumbered and they're in someone else's home court,
cocky,
like,
too.
yeah.
They were cocky. And maybe they were the perfect creature for Palpatine to overlook.
Exactly.
He didn't account for them.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Right? Like,
why would he care?
These bears, I don't have to worry about them. And then, hush. But
I'm dead.
Yeah.
Because of them.
Or am I? Maybe that was part of the plan all along.
He
double negated himself.
Had a plan with them to take himself down.
Are they the true Sith? Are they the Sith cultists that were those all Ewoks under all the robes at the end of 9?
Yeah, I think they were. And somewhere Jar Jar is actually ruling the galaxy and not Palpatine.
Jar Jar and the Ewoks. I'd watch that.
I would read that.
I would read that. That would be a good
That's
book.
a good book.
That's a good fan fiction book. Throne room scene. I love the space battles. This is the best that space battles have looked in Star Wars. Yep. Because the effects get to the point. That whole entire sequence.
When they can finally do what they want.
Going through and oh my god, I love it. The colors. Just that there's more colors in space. I feel like with this. And then the whole throne room scene is just. It is so perfect.
Learning that Leia is Luke's sister.
Little awkward. Probably my least favorite part of this movie is when Luke and Leia talk on the bridge.
And she's like, I've known. Somehow I've always known.
There's something about that sequence that bugs me. Her hair, all of that, whatever.
Sure.
I'm fine with it for the most part, but it still is an important scene. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I forget how much I like this movie.
It's a really fun movie.
It's just fun. This is just a fun movie with epic moments.
I almost forgot. Something I saw, I don't know if this is true. It may not be, but I saw on Reddit, apparently Rex is one of the troops on Endor.
No, they have retroactively
said
made this white guy with a beard be a large Samoan man in his elderly years. I don't know if he's Samoan.
No,
but
I know what you mean.
He's Pacific Islander, or maybe he's from New Zealand. Sorry. And I'm just like, no.
You don't want that to be Rex?
I so do, but it's also so not him. Like it's so clearly not
just
him.
You saying that's Rex isn't enough.
Yeah.
Like he needs to do something. I don't just want to see him.
Oh, guy with the beard, that's Rex. Rex was there.
Right.
I'd rather they say he was there and we didn't see him.
I get what you mean.
Because I'm just like, that's not
You're like,
him.
where? What'd he do? Like, how important was he?
Oh, okay. There was an old guy there. So it makes sense that there's other old guys there.
He's just that guy in the second row to the left that's like kind of waiting there scared around a corner. Like, no, that's not Rex.
Name is John that was hired for this job and paid $500. Like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, I get you.
They also retconned Boba's voice. They had him, Tamara Morrison.
Did they really?
Re-recorded all the lines so that the voice is consistent.
Cool.
It throws me off a little, but also I'm like, they should do that.
Yeah.
Because it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But yes, I know the exact Rex reference that a lot of people wanted it and then they did it. That's how it happened.
What did they do?
They made it official. Everyone was like, is that Rex? That should be Rex. And they're like, it's Rex.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was like an official thing.
Yeah, I think that's how that went down.
Oh, weird.
Like, Star Wars tweeted it out, like, officially, and yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Rex was there.
He died.
Did he?
No.
No, I don't think so. I think they're good. I think they were good at that point.
Yep.
Are we on my number 6?
Yes.
Return of the Jedi, episode 6. I keep having mine like one above yours.
Yep.
I do like it more than episode 5. To me, it's just it's a little bit more robust to me. It's like the finale, so it's kind of a more epic. I love the whole ending when everyone's like celebrating and he sees the Force ghosts and yes.
No celebration song at the end. That's BS. There's one true song, and that's Yub Nub.
Dude, I don't know that song. I really don't. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, that is. I hear it every time. I can't.
Oh, that's so weird. I don't know that.
Yeah, well, we need to watch my original copies on VHS, because there's also some really cool interviews before it starts in every single one.
Oh, cool.
With it's Leonard Maltin interviewing George Lucas.
Okay.
And as a kid, I was fast forward.
Right.
Now I want to watch.
Right.
And I don't know if I think I looked them up on YouTube and watched them, but I'd like to watch them like the classic way. That would be fun.
I get you.
And they're the original cuts, if you've never seen them.
No, definitely not for all 3 movies. I may have seen episode 4 at some point.
We should do that at some point. That would be fun. Okay, sorry.
We talked about episode 6 for 2 slots in a row.
I'm still wanting to talk about it because Luke at the beginning, Jedi Knight Luke, and all the black with the green light. We didn't even talk about the green lightsaber.
We've never seen a green lightsaber to that point.
And him when he meets with Vader and he's inspecting the lightsaber. One of the coolest scenes.
See, I don't know why, but like my favorite thing in movies, especially Star Wars, is when like adversaries are like calmly interacting with each other.
When you're not having to worry about them killing.
Right.
You're just like
Kylo and Rey working together, or Luke being with Darth Vader, his dad, but with Darth Vader and not like afraid that he's gonna murder him.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. It's it's a fun interaction. And then so when he's looking at his lightsaber, he's like, damn, you've learned, like you're good. This is a good lightsaber.
Are there any other ones we get like that?
There's stuff in the Clone Wars when Count Dooku works with Obi-Wan and Anakin. That's some of my favorite stuff.
I forgot about that, but I love that. When you can root for the bad guy essentially, or you don't have to constantly be afraid of rooting against. You
sometimes root for like Asajj Ventress, maybe even Darth Maul. Like one time,
I root for Darth Maul the whole time.
Sure, but he's always bad.
Yes.
But yeah,
he's bad against badder people.
Arguably. He fights Palpatine.
Yeah.
Major spoiler, but
no, Clone Wars is not. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's not that big a deal.
I know.
Him existing is more of a big deal than him fighting Palpatine.
That's true.
But yeah,
I love stuff like that.
I do too.
You're number 6, and then we'll take a break. We'll do our top 5s after the break.
Okay. My number 6, Rogue One. God, I love this movie so much. And it was hard for me to put it above Return of the Jedi. That was one of the harder decisions. But, I mean, it was hard to not put it higher. And, I almost don't want to talk about this movie until we both talk about it.
Okay. Till we get to mine.
Because I have so many good things to say about this movie.
Yeah.
I will give a quick. It feels the most like the original trilogy, which is good because it's the closest to the original trilogy.
Time-wise, yeah.
To create so many, I would argue, maybe a notch below iconic, but just really, really, really solid character additions to the Star Wars. Like, that is what this movie is for me. Every time I think about this movie, I think first about the characters, and then, wow, this adventure that we get to see them go on.
Yep.
And then I also love everything we see throughout it. We'll talk more about it when we get to it.
It's in my top 5.
Safe to say.
All right, so that is our number 11 through 6.
Yes.
Of the Skywalker saga. We will come back with our top 5 after the break. Hey, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Ethan.
And you're listening to the Hebrew Rebels podcast.
Thanks for listening. I will say, Maya said she's been thinking about it and she's excited to go again.
I'm definitely excited to go. Like,
but remember, she was really down on it.
Yeah.
She's like rejigged her expectations and she's super excited.
Okay, good.
And I've honestly done the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I think I was a little dazed after.
I think once it's more easily accessible too, I think it'll
change things.
Because the fact that it's like so overhyped and so exclusive, and it's like, it's almost impossible to get on this, and you're like, for that? But
it's just a ride. At the end of the day, you're not actually in Star Wars.
Right.
like if we had done that and then the same thing for the Falcon, I would have been like,
But it's also the closest I've ever felt to being in Star Wars.
Exactly.
Ever. So
no, and that's not. It's there. It's just not there.
Right.
Right. That's a. Yeah.
It's gonna take a long time to get to that point.
Doesn't
Even the hotel. I don't want to set too many expectations. Like, it might be disappointing.
That's an Inception type future.
Yeah.
Which do we want to? Maybe. Is it safe to assume future generations of people will get to choose what universe they want to live in?
I don't know.
I want to live in Harry Potter.
Like more than a Ready Player One kind of thing where you can like jump into it if you want to. Like, you're in it.
Both, but you can just live that. Like,
I don't think so.
I think it will eventually.
I don't want that.
No, it won't be required or mandatory.
Right.
It already kind of exists.
But then it's all...
You have sections of the population that do certain things.
Yeah.
And it'll just be that.
So that's what I was going to say. That's so split. It's like...
That's that building where those people are just hooked up. Regular people will still live their lives.
Okay.
But if you want to not live in this world, you have the option because the technology exists.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Because I agree. I don't think every single human is going to be on board for that.
Right. It's not you're starting a video game when you're born and you choose which level you want to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to live in Harry Potter. Because
that's so real world.
If it is, plug in and you wake up and it feels you, but you can do magic or use the Force.
Right.
That's going to be hard to turn down. If somebody said you could plug in and actually exist in Star Wars.
Right.
What if you could have your own personal...
So,
what if you could have your own personal Earth to protect as Iron Man?
Here's what scares me about things like that is... Okay, let's take...
we aren't going to live it. So
no, I know. But, damn, what was that show called? The one with... Oh, my God. This is brutal. Who was Ant-Man?
Paul Rudd. Living with yourself.
Living with yourself. Okay. So... You upgrade, right? You go to the spa and you get the massage and you wake up and you're a rejuvenated person, except you're not. You're dead. You don't get to experience being the better person. You are dead.
But if it works, you don't know.
No.
And so you are.
The next person doesn't know. The next you doesn't know that you're not that he's not him, but you are dead. You cease to exist. Your memories and all that stuff get implanted into a new thing that doesn't know that that's happened, and it gets to continue on, but you're dead. So let's say something like this. It's like, yeah, you get plugged into Harry Potter and you get to experience
you're not
that.
Dead, though. But you're not dead.
I know. I'm just like things like that. Like, that's a terrifying thing. Like, I never want to be like, we're going to transfer you into this. And I'm like, nope, not risking it. Because I could just never be anymore.
What's the risk?
Ceasing to exist.
But see, and that's where the whole definition of all that stuff becomes very complicated.
Sure, but
because
I would rather continue living my life than...
You're no wiser to it than the definition of you.
No wiser means you're dead.
But it's still you.
No, it's not.
But what if it is?
Oh, okay, but that's a different thing. If they can literally take your life from one being to another, that is different. More than just memories and attributes from one thing to another.
You're right. That's why I'm thinking about it differently.
Yeah.
Well, but aren't you just that?
No.
What's missing?
You experience... I don't know.
That's where it gets tricky.
I don't know.
Because what's missing? The technicality.
I don't know.
The technicality.
Yeah.
An intangible thing.
But you get what I mean, right? Like, we are talking about two very similar like aspects of it.
But that, and it's like, I'm not saying this is something I want, but like...
No, I definitely don't want that. Sign me out of that.
Watch Altered Carbon.
Okay.
Because what if you could live forever?
Yeah.
What if you could live forever? What if you get old and then you get to be you again? And you know it going in. You know this body is going to be killed. Mm-hmm. You're going to wake up over there.
But can you ever know that it works either? Like, how do you know?
Because you have that memory of being told that.
Only if it works. There's no guarantee on the front side.
But what if it is? What if the technology is to a
I
point
get
where
you.
it's a guarantee? Like,
But that's a stipulation.
well, then at that point, you're just risking whether or not you're going to die, but maybe you're going to die.
But at an
anyways.
old age, I'm fine with that.
Exactly. So it's
If I'm Paul Rudd, I'm not. But he also didn't know.
and that's why, like, the show, I don't want to be a part of any of that kind of situation. No,
Right.
that's terrifying.
Right.
But it's interesting. Watch Altered Carbon. It's so good.
I will. Anyways.
Well, that's going to be cut, right?
No, we're not cutting stuff, remember?
Oh, God, you're right.
We're essentially doing this live, just my computer won't let us.
Got to work on those tangents.
No, it's fine. I like tangents as long as
That was very philosophical.
I liked it.
I
It was
want to be a
perfect.
Force ghost. Right, number 5.
Number 5.
And I've kind of lost track of what you've done so far, so I'm really curious.
I'm concerned. I'm scared.
You shouldn't be concerned. Oh, I'm going to laugh. What's your number 5?
Episode 9. The Rise of Skywalker.
Ah, damn it. You want to know what my number 5 is?
Yeah, what?
Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
How? Really?
Yeah, because time has passed.
Okay. All I've been thinking about is the first words you said, which were, this is not only my favorite Star Wars movie, but my favorite movie of all time. I'm like, oh my God.
And then a lot of stuff
Oh my God, I'm
happened.
going to hurt him. Like, I'm going to break his heart. Like,
A lot of stuff has happened.
okay. Good. Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah. That could change over time,
Mm-hmm.
but do you want me to since you
Please
were
explain.
prepared
Yeah.
for this?
Yeah.
So what I couldn't get past was the Legacy, a movie I've watched for 20 something years,
Mm-hmm.
movies I've watched for all this time versus something new.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it. That's really what it comes down to.
Okay. It doesn't deserve it yet, kind of a thing.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And with everything, like it. So you know how I said I want to see it 9 times?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it because multiple reasons not being able to go to movies, but like hearing stuff F's me up. It
Yeah.
really screws me up. If I hear something about a game, I won't play it.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes be in a game and be like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. It was like Fallout. I was enjoying it. Then I heard it, dropped it, never picked it back up again.
Interesting.
Because there was just something a little bit off. And so I just started questioning myself.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I'm shutting it off. I don't want to, I want to keep what I had and hold on to that until I go back to it.
Yeah.
I do wish I got to see it again, but all I would have been thinking about the entire movie is, and people hate this and people hate this and people hate this and people hate this. That's all I would have been able to think about. And it pissed me off, honestly.
Yeah. So,
And that's why I'm just like, I need to step away.
Yeah.
I want to be away from this.
I still really don't understand what people hate about
fake.
this movie.
No,
I don't get it.
If we want to talk about this, I have no problem saying it. It's wrong. It's proven through articles I've read and through what people have saying. They contradict themselves throughout the articles that they write, trying to criticize this movie.
Yeah.
Without even realizing it. I don't really care to convince people right now.
Yeah.
I've talked to multiple people that didn't like it, and the second that I went boom, boom, boom and angled it, they're like, oh, yeah. So it's like, this is the thing about 9. It's the Star Wars movie where context matters the most.
Yes.
It really does.
Yeah.
You can't just judge it based on itself as a movie. Context matters so much because they were looking 30 years ahead, 40 years ahead before they made this movie. And we'll be thankful. Everybody will be thankful.
Yeah.
But right now, people are butthurt and they're trying to be edgy because the first Star Wars movie they saw, The Last Jedi, was controversial and they're not happy about it.
Right. So, okay.
It makes me sad. You've made a comment about the division of the fan base and how
Episode 8 split the fan base.
Yeah, it's
I don't know about forever. I think there can be a hard reset, especially when there's a drastically different timeline, trilogy, like out of the Skywalker saga, that might reset it. But episode 8, in my opinion, really did split the fan base because everyone loved, I feel like, fighting over it and like having one opinion over the other. And I wasn't expecting that from this movie, but literally afterwards when we heard like, wait, there's bad reviews of this movie. Like, why is the Rotten Tomatoes score so low? I'm just like, huh? Just people are critical. However, I did if I look back to what I wanted from this movie like a year ago, I wanted more.
Yeah.
And that might even just be like how long it is. It's short, honestly, for a Star Wars movie. Like they legit, the runtime went down 15 minutes.
Yeah.
When we first announced it, it was like 2:36 and the movie's 2:21, 2:22.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they cut something out of it, but like
This wasn't Endgame.
it wasn't Endgame and I really wanted it to be. And it could have been.
I think, and people are forgetting this, part of the reason it couldn't be is because Carrie Fisher passed away.
That's true.
That will forever hang over this movie.
Yeah.
And I really do give it, and that was something going into it I was thinking about. They had to rewrite this entire movie.
Yeah.
They had a plan. And that really threw everything off. And that's why, like, with this movie, I don't even want to criticize anything. Because what they pulled off, I think, is still impressive. And doing something different, I don't think would have worked.
Yeah.
Because it feels like an end.
It does.
Sure. That is the most important feeling I wanted from this. The last thing that I wanted from this movie was this feeling of, like, trying to grab something.
Yeah.
And I feel very, like, deep breath.
For sure.
With this movie, and that's why I'm very happy about it.
It was definitely very relieving. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no criticisms of the movie necessarily. More so of the trilogy, honestly, that this feeds into. But yeah, it felt me wanting a little bit more. And there's like certain questions I just kept asking myself about this movie afterwards that like made me realize this isn't my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It was definitely hype when we like first reviewed it that I was like, yeah. It's perfect. It's number 5. Like it's high on the list. But there's just something that knocks it down a peg and I still can't put my finger on it. I really don't know what it is, but there was something off about it to me. However, the Rey and Kylo stuff will forever be some of my favorite stuff in all of Star Wars. It made me cry hard.
Really, the only Star Wars movie that's ever done that for me. Other than
me too.
One other moment, but that moment wasn't even like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm still thinking about.
I am too. I've seen it 3 times now.
I've still only seen it the once.
And I still can't fully wrap my head around it.
It's the tone. It's the tone change. That's what it is. I really think that's what it is. And it's like, whoa, I love the tone. Mm-hmm. But I think it's different than what we've had.
Yeah.
Something feels almost like too perfect. Almost like too perfect. Yeah, I'm really.
I couldn't justify putting it over. I think, like you said, like it doesn't deserve to be above some of these other movies yet because I've lived with them for so long, and they've settled in my brain, and they are where they are. Yep. And this one was just like, I don't know yet. I don't know about you. Like you have some amazing moments.
When we came out of that movie, that was 2 years post disappointment.
Right.
And it was such a, thank God it wasn't that.
Yeah.
That it was like, I love this.
It was relieving in that way too. Like the story is like relieving, but even it's like, yes, it's not bad. It's like, thank God.
And I can't talk about this because I just think about the people like I know you shouldn't say this kind of incorrectly criticizing it. Just wrong, flat out wrong opinions. I'm sorry. Like, and I know that's controversial.
Maybe the things they're criticizing are wrong.
No, their opinions are wrong. Like
that's what I'm saying. The things that they're nitpicking might be wrong.
No, the way they're doing it.
Right.
I'm not just trying
not like this movie. That's okay.
But it's shown to be emotional, and they're not and for the wrong reasons because of how they contradict themselves in these articles. And I wish I had an example, but it's like we're literally like, oh, this was so much better, and I don't like this, but if they had done this, it would have been amazing. And the thing they wanted was the thing that they before. And so it's like just to be upset about it.
Yeah.
Where it's like I don't think you even watched the movie. I think you were sitting there the whole time looking for what you didn't like.
Yeah.
Every critical article I've read, that is what has come off, is you went into it already ready to rip it apart.
Yeah.
And just like, it better be like The Last Jedi. This better be like every scene, every moment. I've heard some people give feedback of things they didn't like. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about the articles where like, oh, this movie is so bad and here's how it could have been better.
Yeah.
Every single one of those is wrong. Period. Now, I've heard some people say like, oh, they could have done this differently, or like, oh, like maybe that was like a little bit late. I'm cool with that.
Sure.
And I think they do a good job of presenting that. And that's why when I read the best article that I read was about how, whoa, everybody hold up. Like, I don't think you realize like this is actually continuing Last Jedi.
And I love how it complements The Last Jedi.
Beautifully.
In certain ways.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
And it makes The Last Jedi better without, I think, like hating on it too much. And I think a lot of people interpreted it as, oh, that's just they hate The Last Jedi. And I'm like, or this is just a objectively good thing. And we don't have to just be upset about it.
Right. I love going back to Taco Donna. No.
No, they don't go back anywhere.
Yeah. What's the planet called?
Which planet?
Where Rey finds Luke.
Oh, Octo.
Octil. Sorry. What's Taco Donna?
Is Maz Kanata's castle.
My bad. Octil. Yeah. Yes. I love going back there.
That whole sequence.
Because I liked revisiting some places from 8. That was really cool. Like, it's a continuation, obviously. It's not its own standalone thing.
Biggest criticism of 8 is the lack of locations.
Yeah.
This movie corrects that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
We'll get to some of my criticisms of all the movies as a whole later.
Oh,
but
is that a section?
Trilogies.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I'm happy that we are on point with that one because I was really.
I was
damn,
like,
even having it number 5, like
I was questioning. I've been questioning myself because of what I said.
Yeah.
Can I do that? Do I have to put it higher?
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to trust myself.
If you
and put it where
you feel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you want to hear our initial reactions of the movie, we have a video on YouTube. Rebels React to episode 9.
It was a lot of fun.
Minutes afterwards.
It was a lot of fun.
It's a little bit long, so
if you want to have a fun ride, it might be a little crazy, but it was
raw reactions to like one of the most epic movie events ever. Yeah. Number 4. The Force Awakens.
Good call.
My favorite of the sequel trilogy. I remember just being genuinely happy when it came out. Zero criticisms of that movie. Loved every minute of it. Loved all of the new characters because they pretty much were all new.
No. Han Solo, Chewbacca.
Oh, damn, that's right.
Leia. R2-D2. C-3PO.
Oh, God, Leia was in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of new characters, and they were all perfect, I thought.
The only movie she was in that we saw where she hadn't passed away.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That was so long ago.
Yep.
Introduced my new favorite character in Star Wars, Kylo Ren.
He's so good.
I didn't even love him that much then. 8 made me love him as much as I do, which is weird. But
because in 7 he was still kind of whiny.
Yeah.
And that was
and he looked weird too.
Like, it was always what are they going to do with him? Because there's a lot of potential there. Mm-hmm. And they nailed it in 8. Absolutely. Ryan nailed Kylo's character in 8.
He molded him
yes,
perfectly.
Absolutely.
Because you could see he's still kind of raw in 7. Rey, I feel like, was the same all the way throughout. I don't feel like she really changed. I think she stuck to her character throughout all 3 movies.
I would...
Much less than Kylo, at least.
I would actually align them.
Really?
Yeah. I think they both had...
I don't see a difference in them.
Pretty good, while still keeping to their to their core. I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
Because she had some variation. She between 7.
I mean, she gets more cynical in like the later movies, but that's just
her essence is still there.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Kylo's essence is still there, but there is some character.
I just mean like even his look, even Kylo's look, like
Rey's look doesn't change that much.
Right.
Yeah.
He looks fresh in episode 7, and then they make him look like what he's supposed to look like in the last
he gets
2
scarred.
movies. That's part of it, but
he is fresh in 7. Like I think that is what's cool to see about his character is like he is doing his thing. He's still learning,
but he really doesn't know as much as he
thinks
coming out.
Yeah. And 9 is his ultimate like
redemption.
Whatever. But I would it's an interesting parallel. Sorry.
So it's 7. There's a decent lightsaber battle. Nothing to shout about compared to some of the others we've seen throughout the
it's the welcome
saga.
back.
Yeah.
Lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
It's the hint of things to come.
It was cool seeing Finn use it. Someone who like isn't supposed to use it. Yeah. But even in does he use it on Takodana?
Oh, he does.
He does a little bit, right?
He does. Yeah, traitor.
Right.
He fights traitor.
And does he kill him with it?
No.
He gets beaten. And that has to get saved.
By
Han
with Chewie's blaster.
Oh, sorry, that's who he saved by. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. BB-8, one of the best droids of all time. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just love this movie.
I do too.
But we can get to it when we get to yours. What's your number 4?
My number 4?
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1.
Okay.
I love this movie.
For a few minutes, I'm like, is this his number 1? I'm like, damn, that's... But... Because you were so shocked when I had it where it was. So I'm like, okay, this is cool.
No, I feel pretty good about where all my stuff is.
Yeah.
Episode 1, like, I've really, really, really thought about this movie a lot recently. And again, one of those things where there were a few years where I was like, oh, the prequels aren't good. I don't like them. Like, kind of like...
You had that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
100%. Not like, but like I was still watching them.
Right.
And I guess like in denial with how much I'm just, and then I was finally like just open it up. I love this damn movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love all of them.
Episode 1 though.
Yeah.
Is different than 2 and 3. 1, it is different from 2 and 3 in feel and style and look. You've got 2 and 3 are very
similar.
They're like a package,
and they feel a lot more fake.
Mm-hmm. 1,
this movie has like more heart to it.
Yes, it has more practical. It's an adventure, but it doesn't feel like 4. It has possibly my favorite character in Qui-Gon and my second favorite character in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't great, or he didn't do a lot in this movie, but he was training.
Right.
He was supposed to be a background character essentially. And I remember when I first saw this, like I didn't even think about him.
I didn't realize he's the guy, the old Obi-Wan guy.
Yeah. I don't even think I realized that. When I think about episode 1 and the first time like Obi-Wan like enters my consciousness, it's always at the end when he's like running through the things. Like that's the first time I'm like, Obi-Wan, okay, this guy.
Yeah.
But I love Jar Jar unashamedly.
Me too.
And so this is I think how it goes for me. I have a love of something. Then I hear all this stuff. Then I'm sad about it.
Yeah.
And I try to watch it. But I watch something enough times to where I'm just like, wait, I don't not like this.
Right.
like I watch it enough to be like confident in that like
you like come out of a haze, you're like, huh? Wait, no.
What? No, this is not bad. And literally watching through it like recently, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to criticize this movie.
Yeah.
Like throughout, and I'm just like, when is it going to get bad? Hasn't happened yet. This is still an amazing, fun ride.
Right.
I love the battle droids. And the introduction of them. Like, it's so different to the stormtroopers.
Right.
And you were always like, oh, these are the stormtroopers. But, like, they're also not, which is such a cool, weird, different thing.
Yeah. So, like, I can see how the politics might rub people the wrong way who came from the original trilogy.
Is there that much politics in this movie?
Yeah. all
There's
these
a little bit on Coruscant.
trade disputes and queens and
what happens when I hear all that stuff?
The senators and
it's just noise. It's just noise. It's a background something that is a reason for all this to be happening.
I feel that way because as a kid, I never heard those words.
No, that's what I mean. Like it didn't register.
Right.
I was
just looking at the cool stuff.
Exactly. They're talking about stuff that's important because they have to fight in space.
But that's why it works for us. Jar Jar obviously works for us because we were kids and he's what we pay attention to because he's like this goofy alien who talks funny. Like,
I look at him, I'm like, one, that's good CG.
And,
and two,
for sure,
he's annoying, and they acknowledge
he's supposed to be.
They acknowledge it too,
right?
They're not all like, "Come on, Jar Jar, let's go on an adventure," and you're just like, "God, that guy's annoying. Why do they like him?"
Qui-Gon hates him.
He hates him. It's great, but at the same time, like, it's almost like tactical too. At the beginning, like he helps them to help them, like he helps them get there,
right?
And like through a sequence of events, like they're together. Oh well. Like were they just supposed to be like, go away?
I mean, he helped them get to the palace.
Yep.
It'd be weird to just like kick him into the river and be like, cool, thanks.
Yeah, like that doesn't make sense, right? Like he was with them at that point.
Because maybe he can help more. And he does.
More just he's with them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And he does help more. Mm-hmm. Like there's a reason that he's around. But the pod racing, we talked about the pod racing earlier.
Love it.
Epic. Just so epic.
I want a whole movie about a pod racer.
And that was this movie. This is pod racing.
That's true.
No, it's not.
No, but
that is my biggest criticism of this movie. When he's in the spaceship and he says, "Now this is pod racing," and all I'm thinking is, "No, it's not, sir. It's not."
You're in a starfighter.
You are a child that was just told to by the director say, "Now this is pod racing because you said that earlier in the movie, and now we're gonna have it in two parts so that it's like connected and see the evolution."
Did he say it earlier?
Yeah.
When?
I'm pretty sure he's.
I don't think so.
When he's pod racing?
I don't think so. He doesn't talk when he's pod racing.
I swear that's said twice.
Maybe
I could be
maybe
wrong.
It's cut, but I don't think so.
No, maybe that's.
Which might make it even worse.
Something. I've heard something where it's similar to that. Maybe I'm crazy. Regardless, it's still weird because he's not pod racing.
Right.
But that actually makes it less bad. So now I'm curious. But it's just too clever of a comment to make to yourself in an isolated incident. Now this is pod racing.
Who are you talking to, kid?
Huh? Regardless.
Who are you, kid? How are you here? Qui-Gon told me to stay in this cockpit, and that's what I'm gonna do. He's like, he didn't tell you to fly the stupid thing.
Technicality. Going back to the politics and the Coruscant stuff, mm-hmm. I love seeing Coruscant.
Oh, Coruscant is great.
Seeing it, and you see the Chancellor, and it's like that needs to be introduced.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is that as a kid, I still had no idea. I had no idea that Sidious and Palpatine were the same.
When I realized it, I'm like, does everyone else know this yet?
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. They figured it out?
Yeah, man. We know.
Yeah. Talking to my mom and being like, oh, yeah. No. You're supposed to know that.
Oh.
I mean, she taught me, pointed out a lot of stuff throughout the prequels. I still remember in episode 3 being like, I think it was her being like, oh, that's him picking up the lightsaber that he's going to give to Luke. And like that. No, I was just like, what's happening?
Because you don't really notice like what lightsabers look like at that point either. No. Except for Darth Maul's. There you
go. The other thing I love about episode 1, it really did hit that right age where like I don't even think I was just like so crazy hyped. Like I wasn't like that, but I just remember it being everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everywhere. And
I remember seeing posters.
And I always have to reference this, but Taco Bell toys is the one that I remember. And that's something about that stuck, and it still sticks to this day. But every time I watch this movie, I have a great time.
Same.
Padme's fun as the queen, and the back.
The fake.
The fake is great.
Yeah.
the first time you do not
No.
see that coming.
Because they don't look the same. Or, they're not supposed to. But
it throws it off enough
Yeah.
that you can't track it. Episode 1 Pod Racer.
Great game.
Amazing game. And then I do want to give one other shout out that this is the only Star Wars movie that we've seen in 3D.
Yep. And I barely stayed awake through it, I think. Yeah.
It was midnight or it was late.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was supposed to be a thing, but then Disney bought it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it was no longer a thing.
Nope.
But yeah, that's my number 4. Phantom Menace.
My number 3, yes.
My number 3
Yes.
is, should I do it if it's one we've already done? Or do you want me to
My
wait?
number 3 is also one we've already done.
Okay, we can go with that one.
You go.
Force Awakens.
Okay. Yeah, we just did it.
Since we just did it.
Yeah. It was the perfect re-entry into the saga.
There's specific reasons it can't go higher. But it's essentially like it's almost like I love Force Awakens so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it moving forward, it will probably be the one I watch the most. It's going to be up there.
It is. Yeah, I see it. I can see how it's the most rewatchable.
It's one that if I'm like, I want to watch a Star Wars movie, and lately it's been 1 and 7 that I've just wanted to put on and just watch.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you get
the beginning of a trilogy? It's like it's new tech. Like it's been a long time. Like you feel like you're happy to be back in it. Mm-hmm. It's like a whole new evolution of something you already love because they can do so much more with it.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna let you down because you don't have something to expect from it from the previous movies.
Yep.
Like 8 and 9 potentially do for people.
Yeah.
Like I had no expectations from this, and
I still remember going
killed it.
And just I still remember the moment Star Wars came on the screen and went into the distance and just like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen.
This is happening. And it was infinite possibilities. Mm-hmm. And that opening scene is so perfect. Possibly my favorite. It's not my favorite scene. It's such a perfect scene. Poe's introduction, map to Luke Skywalker.
I still want to know who that guy was.
Oh, he's there's lots about him.
I want to know who he is.
I hate myself that I can't think of his name right now.
I can get it.
Give me the name. So he just appeared in a comic, a new comic series that they're doing. Oh, Max von
Sydow.
I got 2 before you said it. I'll take that. I didn't know the last one. Okay, so Max von Sydow. And there's a new comic that just came out where he is adventuring with Luke and Ben, a young Ben.
Oh, cool.
And
so he knew Kylo, because they allude to it. He's look how much older you become.
I picked up on that immediately.
No, I mean, I knew that too, but I wanted to know why and what they had done.
I was like, damn, this is like the uncle that was like, watched him grow up, and now he's like, I'm gonna tell you how it is. I know you're probably gonna kill me now because of how evil, but I'm gonna tell you because I know you. It's just, I've seen you.
It's weird how I feel like I guess they don't. Most things in Star Wars don't get fleshed out. Like you don't get to know the backstory of everything, but that was such a weird, quick little wait, who is this? And then you never reference it again.
So it's I think in terms of Star Wars, it's 30 years have gone on. Give us something that makes us believe something has been happening.
Yeah, bring us up to speed.
It's almost like when you start the podcast and you're go.
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do. Oh, we're in this
for sure.
What's going on?
Yeah,
a map to Luke Skywalker. Oh my God, who is this guy? Why does he have this droid? But I like him, and he's fighting.
So I guess all that is one day we'll get a movie that's between episode 6 and episode 7. Maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but that's what that would be. That would start to fill in those gaps.
Comics are doing it already. Right. There's a lot of stuff out there that we
don't know.
Are probably surprised is fleshed out. That we don't know is fleshed out.
True.
But the latest comic was he references the High Republic. I think is what it was called. No. One of the references of this new direction of Star Wars. And he talks about it. So that's what people are using to be like, oh, confirmed for project. Oh my God. I'm Aura or something. I'm totally blanking on.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The future of Star Wars.
Oh.
What the next movie will be.
Oh, okay.
We talked about that, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Another time.
Yeah.
Anyways, we get to see him that a little bit. Okay. Beginning of Force Awakens. Poe gets the ship blown up. BB-8. We already get to see BB-8. We're already kind of getting to love him. He goes off.
He's practical. Like, what the hell? That's insane.
Oh, yeah. So practical that he kept breaking.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I love that.
But that's incredible.
No, I love that. Like, despite that, they still made sure to make him
If he was CG, that might have been kind of annoying.
Oh, it would have been horrible.
But the fact that he's a real freaking thing makes him so much better.
And we were just so averse. You're like, oh, you're going to add another droid to make us love? They did it.
But he opened the door to like, yeah, there's always going to be a new droid. And you're always going to love it.
Yeah. They figured out that formula.
Yeah.
With K2SO and whatnot.
I can't remember the one from Solo. I always forget her name, but like B4.
Yeah,
L4.
L4. I just listened to. I try to think of Donald Glover.
Yep.
L4.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments in Star Wars, and I sometimes rewind it to rewatch it. Poe shoots, and then when
and he
he's being
freezes
brought,
it.
and he walks by, and it's. I still remember being in theaters and being like,
You can do that?
"This guy is
Yeah.
powerful."
Yeah.
And then after they have the whole conversation, they go.
And it explodes.
And it explodes, and you realize, oh my God, he was holding it the whole time while he was doing all that. Okay, this
Yep.
guy's
Insane.
the real deal.
Yeah.
I could give a beat for beat for this entire movie from start to finish. It's beautiful, and I love it. We go to Jakku with one of the coolest transitions ever from Kylo. I believe it, or was it Poe's face to Finn? I think it's Finn to Rey. That's one of the best cuts to her in the thing, and then her scavenging. I love that. Such a cool, like, immediate, like, Star Wars. Like, here's an old Star Destroyer.
Right. God, I love that too. The visuals are so cool.
They nailed it. And then leading up to the moment that made me cry in this movie, when they showed the Falcon, and I was just like, it's back.
Yeah.
That's
and
not
her flying
that's
it.
never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Because now it's never going away.
Right.
They literally have one. So, but
You never have to miss it again.
never have to miss it again.
Yeah.
But that was the, like, I'm back kind of a thing.
But her flying it in a way that we've never seen it be flown before.
And I know people were upset about that. I just thought it was cool.
So cool.
So cool. That last flip and then Finn shoots it. Oh my God, it's amazing. Then we get Han and Chewie. I love that entire sequence with the Rathtars.
That is my least favorite part of the movie.
It's my least favorite part of the
Yeah.
movie. I still love it.
Sure.
Because it's a really good break point between Jakku and Takodana.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre, but it's also so Han at the same time. Like, he's out on
Smuggling
some weird smuggling
stealing
thing.
from people.
Yeah. And then Takodana, the green. Didn't know there was this much green in the galaxy. Iconic scene. There's so many iconic moments in this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The Mount Maz's castle. I love it. The song is great.
Ba, ba, do, 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 do.
Yeah, he did that earlier, and I'm just like, yeah, that's classic now.
Yeah.
And did you play? You played the Battlefront 2 story, right?
And you go there.
You go
with
there.
Han with the beard.
I love it. Yes, exactly. Like, that was a cool layer to that. I'm actually upset every time I watch this movie and they destroy the castle.
It's really upsetting.
It's really upsetting.
Like, it's really messed up.
This thing has been here for thousands of years. Gone.
It's like the pod racers. They've had this league going for centuries and now they're all dead. Like, damn it. Is this our fault?
Oh,
that you
man.
brought the cameras here, now it's gone?
Yeah, because at that rate of losing people, you could not have sustainable pod races.
No. I mean, there's a lot of people in the galaxy, though.
But Maybe that's why they haven't brought it back, because they don't know how to make that make sense.
Did they all die though? The little like nah, he definitely died when he crashed into the
Mars Woe, my favorite guy.
the dude who spun.
He didn't die.
He's dead. He's fine, right?
Yeah.
Ben Quadraneros might be
He's
okay.
Fine. He's fine. I think it might be 2 or 3.
Enough. I mean, definitely the ones that we know from the game. There are some that are dead, but enough make it. Anyways, moving on.
But yeah, and then we go on. We get the rest of this movie, and it ends in one of the greatest cliffhangers ever.
Oh, with Luke. Oh my God.
It's so perfect.
Yeah, chills.
It's so perfect. Like, and that moment was so powerful. And I didn't need her to just be a Skywalker. That's lame.
Right.
Like, that would be lame. Nobody's asking for that.
That's too easy.
But
and at that point in the movie, I wasn't expecting to see him.
No,
I'm like,
I know.
All right, next movie. They tricked us.
The music. I remember the music and the shot moving around the island, and then them coming to. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that movie.
I like that movie a lot too.
Trace.
My number 3 is Episode 3.
There it is. Wow, you're really lining it up.
For the longest time, I called this my favorite Star Wars movie. When there was only 1 through 6,
yeah,
it was my favorite Star Wars movie.
I thought you liked 1 more than 3, and now I remember 3 was above it.
It's my first Star Wars memory. Number 1 is.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I always loved
for 3.
Probably. Yeah, it was my like epic like summer action movie or whatever it was. Like I loved General Grievous. The fight at the end between Anakin and Obi-Wan is it's close to the throne room scene for me, with like how long it is and how epic it is and how it's like so much built up tension between two people who have loved each other for so long, but then they have to fight, like, and the choreography was outstanding. The way they're swinging the lightsabers but not hitting each other, and then there's like force on force going on.
Oh, when they do that's so good.
And it's all in this like crazy lava planet that we've never seen.
Mustafar, one of the best planets.
So freaking cool.
That they've added to Star Wars by far.
Yeah.
Which is where they went at the beginning of 9.
Is it?
Yeah. Had you not heard that yet?
Wait.
He went to Vader's castle.
Who did?
Kylo, to get the Wayfinder.
That was Mustafar?
Yeah.
Really?
Cultists planted trees for some reason. There's something behind it. In the original cut, it showed more of Mustafar. So
see, I want more of that. Yeah, that's upsetting because the beginning is not clear. You're like, okay, where are you? Who are these people? And why is this thing just in the middle of a forest? Yeah. It's fine, so but like it gave me questions. I'm like, what? So if I had seen that was Mustafar and that was like where Vader's castle used to be, that would be so much cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I because when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, man, they really do show a lot of planets in 3, and I really appreciate that.
Very unique planets too. Like Utapau is so weird, but cool. And then Kashyyyk, you get to see Chewbacca again.
No, it's stupid. Why is Chewbacca there?
Because he was.
Why? But we know Chewbacca.
It's like saying, why is R2 on the Royal Cruiser or whatever in episode 1? It's like, because that's where he was. That's why he's with these people. Because
yes, exactly.
Like, what do you mean? What did you want him to just fall out of the sky when they need him?
Yeah, I really don't.
He has to be somewhere.
I really don't know what people would prefer.
I no, me neither.
To that. Oh, I also love that Anakin built C-3PO.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. And him gradually getting the plating over the course of him.
He's always evolving. Always changing. It just, I don't know. There's obvious criticisms of some movies, or some things about the prequels. And like maybe the effects weren't there, or like some of the writing wasn't there for this movie, but I've just always connected with it in a way that like I couldn't do without it over many of these movies. But I love episode 3. It's my 3rd favorite. What's your number 2?
Sorry for the yawn.
Wait. Oh, so I was going to say, should we do our number 1? Or, because if we do our number 2, then it's probably pretty easy to guess what our number 1 is. And then it's like not as epic when we say it. Should we just say what our number 1s are?
I was thinking about that. Do you want to go first? Or should we do it at the same time?
Well, they're not going to be the same. So
you're 100% about that? I don't remember what you have left.
I know. I do remember what you have left.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be the same. So.
Okay, let's do our number 1.
Okay.
I want you to go first.
My favorite Star Wars movie.
Uh-huh.
Undeniably.
Undeniably.
I've tried to change my mind on this. Or I've tried to question. I'm like, is this really my favorite Star Wars movie?
Okay.
But Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie.
That is bold. And I so get it.
I just like I have zero problems with this movie.
I intentionally kept it down.
Yeah.
Like it'll rise over time.
Characters.
Yeah.
Jin, Galen, Orson Krennic, Cassian. K2SO was arguably possibly one of the best droids in all of Star Wars.
Cheered anyway.
Baze. Yeah, I was gonna say Boz. You get Darth Vader being so badass. You get to see Vader's castle. Orson Krennic, I think, is one of the best villains in Star Wars. Like, he played his role so perfectly as like a whiny kind of like sniveling little like, oh no, like trying to be bigger than he is, but like he always gets put in his place.
They made him believable that he existed and then died.
Yeah.
Like what they did in terms of creating all these characters that both lived and died within this one movie that you weren't like, oh, where were they?
Mm-hmm.
And, they were doing that, like, and we don't know about that.
Right.
They beautifully.
Planets. Scarif.
Yep.
Might be my favorite looking planet in all of Star Wars. This like tropical planet with this awesome citadel like building in the middle of it. It's like, what the hell?
Of all the bases around it and the different landing or the like landing pads.
Yeah.
The whole complex.
Right.
Yeah. Real quick. When Krennic's up there and the explosions and you see him like and they're in that tower and
he's like, how do we let this happen?
What is it? What does he say? Activate the garrison. And they're all just like, what's going on?
Right.
I love it. Yeah.
Man, my brain is not working with names. Saw Gerrera.
I could put this one.
I love him.
So good.
I love Saw. Only thing I don't like is the Bugalid, the weird tentacle brain.
It still just
memory
doesn't really
sucking thing.
make sense.
Don't get it.
I like it because of Star Wars. And like, why not? But they don't execute it very well.
I love seeing Saw and his like, they're rebels, but they're like
extremists.
Extremist rebels. Like they're not really accepted by the rebels.
Yep.
Jeddah, seeing the old Jedi stuff, like the like old like temple or whatever, and
statues.
Like the city on top of the hill with the freaking Star Destroyers like floating on top of it. I freaking love this movie. I love that they all die at the end.
So do I.
Because they sacrifice themselves to get these plans that they had to get. Otherwise, the entire universe was screwed. They had to die. Or they didn't have to die necessarily, but like it makes sense that they died.
Yep.
This movie is
and they didn't
perfect.
I mean, they died because of the Death Star. Like there was really nothing they were going to be able to do about that.
No,
it wasn't like they messed up and died, even though they saved the day.
And it makes perfect sense. They're like, all we can do is to blow up our own base. And that's all we can do to save this. And they just barely made it.
I think it makes the movie better that they die.
I mean, yeah, same.
Because in the pacing of it, because it's one person at a time goes in this really, really cool sequence of events. I want to say K2SO is first.
I think he is.
And then I want to say it's Bodhi. And then
Chirrut, and then
Baze,
and then Cassian and Jin.
Is that the whole team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the side people, but
yeah. But I intentionally kept this movie down. I should have put it higher.
Yeah. Chirrut shows like ways of the Force. Like he uses the Force. He's blind. He's not a Jedi, but he uses the Force to like, he can see everything, but he's blind through the Force. And he's such a like pure good character. that, you know, you see conflict in a lot of people in Star Wars. He is just good.
I love him.
I love Rogue One. I don't know. I know a lot of people. There are people that feel that way. Like, it's not like that.
It doesn't have a sequel yet. It's the one movie that makes me want to watch another movie most out of any movie ever.
Right. Yeah, like, Leia at the end.
You can't not immediately start 4.
Tarkin is in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, say what you want about the CG. I think it's great for what it is.
It's actually aged a little more than I was expecting, because when it first happened, I was 100% with it. It's a little more noticeable.
You can notice
still
it.
Happy they did it.
Me too.
I hear people.
I wouldn't want it to be anything else.
I still hear people wish that they'd put him in a hologram.
Yeah, because you can mask that a lot better.
But I'm happy they didn't.
I wouldn't have wanted them to do that with Leia. I loved they hand her the thing at the end.
I still think Leia looks great. I thought she looked great from the beginning.
I don't know why we have to criticize that, because do you understand that it's not possible to have a young Carrie Fisher again? Like,
that's what I don't.
Why are we criticizing this?
Because it makes people uncomfortable.
Let's go play the old 8-bit games from, you know, the 80s or whatever and say those look terrible. They couldn't do any better.
Yeah.
They would have made her look better if they could.
And I think
so. Get over it.
I think it's perfect.
Sure.
Honestly.
It's great.
I always hear people go like, Tarkin was okay, but Leia was just off. And I'm just like, no.
No.
Where? Why?
Right.
How? Well, it looks perfect. It actually looks like it's a cut out of the 1977.
I don't even remember what she looks like. I just remember that Leia was there.
Exactly.
You only for that 1 second, you're like, oh, weird, that's fake. And then, Leia was in that movie.
So, the sequel to this movie is my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And
this makes me so happy because
I was so like torn, but this is because 5 is arguably better. The sequel, the budget, all that stuff that we were saying earlier.
Yes.
But this movie will forever be the heart of Star Wars, and what defined it, all of it. And it's the first one I saw, and it's the other one that I put on when I just want to watch a Star Wars movie. So
you said earlier, like you watch 7 and 1 a lot. And I was like,
and 4.
I wonder if there's something about the first in a trilogy that just makes it perfect.
It's weird to start on the second of something.
Yeah.
But you can always start on the first of something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything behind it. But like, if I'm going to put on 5, I'm like, whew. And that's the like, which one would I watch kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to rank these, but just the legacy, the epicness, Obi-Wan being alive, meeting Han Solo. That
prime Han Solo.
I think that from when they look down on Death Valley to when the Falcon comes out of Lightspeed in the Remnants of Alderaan is my favorite
sequence
of Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I would probably subconsciously like everything goes back to that.
It's not too flashy. Like the flashiness almost makes you not believe it more. Yeah. The fact that it's so simple, you're just like, damn, these people just have like a starship in hangar number 74. Everyone has a ship there. Let's go to Han's and escape these weird really troop things.
Feel like you're in it.
Yeah.
The grandness hasn't quite started yet, but you can sense that there's something coming. It's just, I love it. I hate the Jabba scene, and I hate that it's in there every time I have to watch that.
I don't even mind it that much.
Because we will watch 4
the
way it was, and you'll realize why that does not need to be in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. And it doesn't look good.
Maybe barring that, like I have a list of perfect movies in my mind. It's like 4 obviously is perfect.
Barring that's not part of 4 though.
True. Very true.
So
that's been kind of tarnished since.
Also, McClunky.
I wish that wasn't as big of a deal as it was.
Have you watched it?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's really weird.
So I don't know if I understand fully. Is that additional dialogue added since?
That's Disney Plus exclusive. That's never been in anything.
But like that was never a George Lucas thing.
Never.
Disney recorded that and put that in.
I really have no idea. But you're watching it, and then all of a sudden,
what is it
you're
supposed to
watching through a
mean?
movie, and then let's cut and go McClunky, and then back to the movie.
What is it supposed to mean?
It means something. It makes sense.
Because when I first heard it,
Yeah.
it does mean something. Okay,
Yeah, no,
so
it
like,
makes sense, but it just stands out.
yeah, I don't like it. It's become a meme.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Like I remember
Greedo
when
actor is confused by McClunky. He's like, I never said that.
but apparently it's supposed to make Han that mad. They just like, okay, I'm going to kill you right now. Maybe
This will be the end of you. That's what it means.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work for me.
You're done, is essentially what he's saying. McClunky. Does not, no.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
Especially when there's no subtitles.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You expect that many people to look up what that means? That's not going to happen. Stupid.
This movie also has my favorite poster.
It's in my wall. It's hanging above my bed.
There's some complications with the poster, but there's a movie coming out about they made another version of the poster. So, yeah.
Should we do number 2s?
Let's do it.
My number 2 is episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yeah. So if we're excluding Solo and Rogue One, to me it's the best of the Skywalker saga. So I think we're in line with that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I could arguably put Rogue One number 1. I just can't put it above these.
I get it. It's so different.
For it not being them.
Right.
Like, I'm like,
you wouldn't be there without these. So
it won't physically let me push it up. Like, even though I want to.
right.
That it's almost like that.
Yeah. I think I remember what your number 2 is.
There's only one left.
It's episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was saying earlier how this movie's grown on me so much. When Han, and I was thinking about when Han kisses Leia, that was a moment that never even used to register to me. I had goosebumps the last time I watched it. Like, holy wow, they pulled that scene off. It's acted so amazingly. Like, I was really zeroed in on Leia and Han in this movie.
Yeah.
More than I ever have been before. And from the opening, that's really what this movie is about.
Because I think Luke's really annoying in this movie.
He's really the side character.
Yeah.
This movie is really about Han and Leia.
Yeah.
I love Han. I love the Falcon. It's the most Falcon that we get.
Yep.
And I love this movie so much. It's Boba Fett. We do get one of the most iconic scenes in movie history.
Yep.
At the end.
Easily. Top 5.
Introduced to Lando. And probably Leia at her up there. Yeah, because she's pretty badass in 6, running around and shooting and stuff.
Riding the speeder.
Yeah, like that whole scene was awesome. But the Hoth stuff I love personally.
Yeah.
I know that whole like Hoth's always hyped kind of a thing.
The fact that people are like episode 5 because Hoth, I'm like,
I would never say it like that, but I love all of the Hoth stuff.
Hoth is great.
And one of my favorite Christmases was walking out and there was an AT-AT walker.
Yeah.
And that that just like locks down a lot of that stuff. And it's the first time we get to see the Force when Luke is hanging upside down.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. And he pulls the lightsaber. So that's one of those things where we've seen it so many times, I don't realize like those moments. And it's like, oh yeah, the first time you're like, what did he just do?
Right.
He just pulled that thing out. Like I imagine I experienced that as a kid, but I can't get that back.
Yeah.
So now it's all like, oh, he's gonna get out and kill him and stuff, or chop his arm off. But I love Empire. Yeah.
I love Star Wars.
I love Star Wars.
Should we quickly do trilogies?
Yeah, so I gave a point total based on where each of these were ranked.
Yeah. I wonder which way it's gonna go.
And then if I didn't feel like this, I was gonna flip it.
Okay.
And this might still change, but how do you want to do this?
Just
Should we knock them all out and just talk about it? In third place, and this is lowest points, highest.
Yeah.
In third place, the prequel trilogy.
I'm so sorry.
With 20 points. These point totals don't really matter, but their distances, I think, do. Second place, sequel trilogy.
Wait, what was third?
Prequel trilogy.
Okay.
20 points. Second place, sequel trilogy. 16 points. And it's like one or two adjustments can throw that. And it's like,
right.
I really am like, I put more thought into this. And then obviously the original trilogy, 9 points. So
yeah.
a bigger gap as to how far ahead it is. Does that make sense?
So the lower the number, the better. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So I did my points differently, but this is also not the way I feel about it. I'm going to go from best to first to third.
Yep.
For me, it's the original trilogy by a lot.
Yeah.
If I did it by points, it's by a lot, even.
With where you have everything ranked.
With where it's ranked. So that is how it should be. Sequels and prequels are almost tied. So for me, my second favorite is the prequels, and my third favorite is the sequels. My reason, I think, for not liking the sequels is the lack of interesting planets.
And you mentioned that earlier.
It's just, you get like 2 new desert planets, a jungle-y planet. Apparently they go to Mustafar again. I didn't realize that.
It doesn't really count.
Exegol is cool, but it's just kind of a creepy battle field.
You pointing that out and thinking about that as a whole, that really hurts.
Because like Coruscant, all a city, an entire ocean planet, an entire ice planet. The freaking ice thing in episode 9, we're there for 2 minutes.
Ice planet.
In
prequels?
No, in episode 9 at the very
you
beginning.
were saying an entire ice planet. You were listing all the.
I'm talking about just all other 6 movies. Like we get a lot of new stuff from.
You mean Hoth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Like it's cool the first time.
Yeah.
But then when you just get more desert, like we have at least 3, I'm pretty sure 4 desert planets in all of Star Wars. 2 of them
Tatooine,
in the sequels.
Jeddah, Jakku, and
whatever was in episode 9.
Yeah.
I don't know. That really it just was a lack of flavor to me.
I would say that's the weakest point of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
The reason that I've got it above the prequel trilogy is the characters.
Sure. I get that.
That's because that's so true. Man, that's the weakest thing. Crate is weak sauce. Like, it's a cool planet, but it feels...
It would be cool if we dove into it more. Like, I want to see some of the mining aspects, or like, who lives there?
It seems like
Does
it was
anyone
just
live
like,
there? Like,
final act, pick a planet. What do you want it to look like?
I don't know, some
white
red.
with some red.
Yeah.
That's with the theme. Okay, we'll do it here and make it like that. Like, that's what that planet feels like.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like all the other Star Wars planets. And Star Wars is very much about planets.
Yeah.
As Fallen Order is showing.
Yep.
Great planets.
Yep.
Already more planets than in the
sequels.
Like,
and that's not the only reason I don't like it. Like episode 8 drops it a ton, but that's the reason it's not above the prequels, I think. Yeah. But anyways, that has been our ranking of the Skywalker saga. Let us know what you think. What is your rankings? Tweet us or comment below. Let us know what you think. If you have been listening, you can watch us on YouTube at Huber Rebels. If you've been watching, you can listen to us on most of your favorite podcast streaming services. But I've got nothing else. My name is Jordan.
And my name is Ethan. We are the Huber Rebels.
Till next time.
Welcome to the rebellion.